Back in 2005, TED took the next step in terms of spreading ideas worth spreading with the introduction of the TED Prize. And this year, one of those TED Prizes went to a gentleman by the name of Dr. José Abreu. And we are fortunate enough to have the epicenter of that TED Prize here in Boston, centered out of the New England Conservatory. And this next set of segments includes a video about that TED Prize, the wish that Dr. Abreu presented, as well as Mark Churchill, a dean from the New England Conservatory, who really has been silently leading this wish here in the United States, and as well as Benjamin Zander, who many of you know, a wonderful conductor who is maybe more vocally leading a lot of this initiative. So please join me in welcoming Mark and Benjamin up to the stage. But first, let's hear about that TED Prize.
We are very happy because we have this angel in the world. He is giving us the possibility to have dreams and to make true the dreams. And here is the result of this wonderful project that is the system.
Hay tres esferas fundamentales en las que el impacto del sistema se expresa. La esfera personal social, la esfera familiar y la esfera comunitaria. Lo más miserable, lo más trágico de la pobreza no es la falta de pan y de techo. Es el sentirse nadie. Y es por eso que el desarrollo del niño en la orquesta y el coro lo proyecta con una identidad noble, lo convierte en un modelo para su familia y para su comunidad.
Que aquí adentro no hay distinción ni de clase, ni de que si eres negro, que si eres blanco, que si tienes o no tienes dinero. Simplemente, si se tiene un talento, si se tiene una vocación y si se tienen las ganas de estar, pues simplemente entras, compartes y haces música de cualquier manera.
I wish that you help to create and document a special training program for 50 gifted young musicians passionate about their art and social justice and dedicated to bringing el sistema to the United States and other countries. Thank you very much.
Well, I have the great fun of telling you a little more about El Sistema, but first a little lead-in. So many of us in the arts can describe our lives as a continual search for ways to share the immensely positive impact that our art form has on us with more and more people, particularly children. We ourselves live with art every day, and the artistic experience is at the center of our being. Art informs how we feel, think, learn, move, interact, contribute, love, and transcend. And those of us in music deeply understand and strive to achieve the intricate balance between the mind, heart, body, and spirit that leads to the most effective and satisfying musical performance and indeed state of living. When we teach music, we see the exquisite interplay of these human elements in a complete and balanced learning that nourishes the souls of the young people while developing an array of life skills. It's the clear power of arts learning that creates the conviction in us that all children, and indeed young people, all of us really, deserve this education in life and in a way that's affirming, rigorous, and freeing. We come to believe that every human being has the potential and to experience art at the highest level, that we all deserve the privilege of an arts-rich life, that people thrive when art is at the center of society, and that art is truly transformative. And so we set to work, finding every available moment in our busy lives to advocate for arts in education, and to create effective delivery systems often aimed at underserved communities. Over the past 30 years, I've had the privilege and honor of being involved in the founding and development of a number of these music in education initiatives, and Boston has again proven to be a powerful incubator for ideas and a leader in building models of success. Project STEP, created in 1982, supports professional training in string instruments for young Black and Latino students. The Boston Music Education Collaborative, a 9-year partnership between the New England Conservatory, the Boston Symphony, the Boston Public Schools, and WGBH, worked at integrating music into classroom learning in core subjects. The Conservatory Lab Charter School in Brighton explores ways to employ arts learning across the curriculum at the elementary school level. From the Top, the national radio series celebrates the power of music in the lives of the entire range of diverse teenagers in the United States. And the Youth Orchestra of the Americas, that you'll hear shortly, brings together young musicians from some 25 countries in our hemisphere to learn from each other and to serve as a beacon of international collaboration. Now, I only name a few, and this in only one city in America. But even with all these efforts, we feel like we're taking very small steps towards the goal of bringing all young people into a profound relationship with art. Enter El Sistema. I first came face-to-face with El Sistema 10 years ago when I had the great privilege of working with Maestro Abreu in the founding of the Youth Orchestra of the Americas. It was instantly clear that we all needed to take this very seriously. Here was an affirmation of our faith, living proof that our programs and initiatives could be more than tiny drops in the ocean of need. El Sistema was demanding that we think much, much bigger about our efforts to bring art to our society and educational systems. Thank you, Maestro Abreu, and the more than 1 million young Venezuelans who have participated in the system over the last 35 years. For me, the last 10 years have been a journey of discovery about El Sistema. I've been to Venezuela at least 15 times, and I always feel that I'm coming home to the land of music. Last fall, I spoke to some eminent German musicians in Caracas, and they told me that now, in Germany, they refer to Venezuela as the motherland of music, and to Germany as the grandmotherland of music. Now, El Sistema might best be described as a set of inspiring principles that has led to a clearly defined and well-practiced full-time after-school music program that holds social change as its first goal and the highest values of excellence in music education as its close second. Learning from our Venezuelan friends by observation and from our own experience, my colleagues and I across the United States have identified 4 core values of El Sistema, as well as its essential, transferable, philosophical, and practical elements. The core values cover human dignity, the belief in every child's potential, the necessity of strong self-worth, and clear priorities for education. And growing out of these values are the things that need to be present if we want to see the kind of results that El Sistema has produced and are thrilling audiences throughout the world. Philosophically, we need fun first, group learning, and discipline inspired by the pursuit of excellence. On the practical side, programs must be sustainable, placed within target neighborhoods, employ large musical ensembles, be intensive, fully engage families and communities, speak to the whole child, give constant applause, and feature peer-to-peer learning. In many conversations during the past years, it became clear that we needed 2 principal tools on our country to foster and accelerate the El Sistema movement: a networking resource advocacy organization and highly trained and skilled leaders. The realization gave birth to 2 national initiatives, El Sistema USA and the Abreu Fellows Program. Being developed with the guidance of a national advisory group, El Sistema USA is a support and advocacy network for people and organizations in the U.S. inspired by the Venezuelan model. Largely through an effective website contributed by a TEDster in San Francisco and launched a few months ago, it will provide comprehensive information on the El Sistema philosophy and methodology, and a variety of resources that will aid those in building, expanding, and supporting El Sistema programs in the U.S. and beyond. As it develops, El Sistema USA will, among other things, become a national leader of advocacy efforts for arts and education, host conferences, arrange study tours to Venezuela and U.S. programs, fund research projects, and provide consultants. The first major initiative of El Sistema USA is the Abreu Fellows Program, to be launched this fall. This, of course, was the focus of Dr. Abreu's wish. I'm thrilled to say that our first class of 10 Abreu Fellows will be arriving in Boston this fall for a year of intensive study, including a 2-month residency in Venezuela. And there's no doubt that we found 10 of the best and brightest, passionate for their art and for social justice. They will found El Sistema centers here in Boston and in other cities, as well as joining the leadership teams of existing pilots in LA, Chicago, Baltimore, Brooklyn, and Miami. And the existing startups have already done much to prove that El Sistema can effectively be translated to the United States. Kids are thriving, waiting lists grow every day, families are engaged, communities are taking notice and feeling pride and worth. We're beginning to look to El Sistema as an important key to a new educational philosophy that may very well have the power to change the fundamental way we think about the education of our children and youth. The El Sistema movement has begun. Thank you.